Oh dear, so here we are again. This is the Fern Cotton Happy book. Well, the journal. The book I've got, I just haven't made a dent in it yet. It's just, I find books really hard going with my fibromyalgia. I really do. Even magazines, I struggle with reading. Um, in general, I just find it really, really difficult. So today is Wednesday, the 4th of January. This is a new chapter is always the perfect time to try new things. Try something, so however small. However small. So I put take up jogging. Joking, obviously, with my health as it is. Yeah. 2, or rather 1, go out daily on my power chair, even if it's for 10 minutes. Fresh air and enjoy surroundings. I used to do that for a little while when I first got my new power chair. I took it out for a little spin round the block and I actually really enjoyed it. But the speed hadn't been turned up, but it was just getting used to the chair and the weight of it and how to control, that kind of thing. Because it had different tyres and everything, and it sounds really silly, but yeah, it's just getting used to it. So I used to take it out for about 10 minutes or so, just go around the block and back again. And then I got out the habit of doing it. So that's something that I really want to start doing again. It's just going out briefly. However brief. Whew. Whether it's out to a shop or around the block or, just going different roadways instead of going always the same way, trying a different route, that kind of thing. 2, get planting some bulbs. Try growing, I did put maybe even, but that's negative thoughts. Try growing some fruit or veg plants in a planter. That's something I want to do. I've been watching those vegan guys on YouTube. I've been watching them for years. And they got an allotment. Obviously something I don't have. But I've got a little bit of garden space around my flat. And last year I was watching them with fruit and vegetables, and I think it was the second year that they'd done their allotment. And I just really, really fancied doing something along those lines, and I've just never got round to it. So I think this year I'm gonna. Oh dear. I'm going to attempt it. I am. I'm going to attempt it. Try doing some fruit and veg plants. We'll see what happens with them, but I'd like to give it a go. I used to do them when I had my own garden. I used to have rhubarb, which was great. But then I used to also have like blueberries and strawberries, things like that. Tomatoes I had. And it was really nice just to get your own fruit and veg, and then I've got out the habit of it, and I'm just thinking here, because it's totally different, a new environment, I just fancy doing it again, but in pots, so we'll see what happens. Oh, dear me, sorry. Number 3, a trip to IKEA, motorway driving. Tried to conquer a fear. I'm absolutely terrified of motorway driving. I've briefly been on the motorway with my dad sat beside me. But I'd like to give it a go because I would like to go to IKEA, take my son, have a look round, be able to go down the odd day, think, right, let's go. But there's like a roadway between that and here that absolutely just terrifies me. So we'll see, but it's something I really want to do. 4, buy stuff in prep for decorating the bedroom. So whether it's paint, furnishings, you know, anything at all to make my room look different. I'm going to get a new light shade as well, because that one falls apart really, really easily, and I've lost bits to it already. Yeah, stuff like that. 5, having help with shopping. Learn to accept help is huge. I'm gonna get care people to come out and help me, I think, when I go shopping, because I'm fed up with struggling, and I need people to reach stuff down for me, especially like in Aldi when the freezers are out of reach. If they were a bit lower down, it would make life so much simpler, but it's not. It's harder. And accepting change, I hate it. I do. I hate change. Sometimes it's for the good, sometimes for the not, but it's just having different thoughts. I mean, it's like when we had to move from the house we were in out in a rural area that I had for about 8 years. Having to change from that to looking at other houses potentially, where I'd have to live in them for a year. So that was tough, you know, looking. And I saw a few that I really sort of thought, yeah, I like that, but there were obstacles in the way, which would have made it a complete no-no from day-to-day living. So I had to look for bungalows or flats, and I didn't want a flat. It was always something that I was definitely, no, I don't want a flat. But look where I am now. I'm in a flat. Yeah, I never wanted one, but then this one come up, which ticked every box going, and it's a great size. It's fantastic. It's roomy. I've not got a couple of items of furniture in it, and I'm like, oh my god, that room's full, like some places that I've looked at. Yeah, so I was looking at flats, I was looking at bungalows, but bungalows, there are very few 2-bedroom unless they're new built. And instead of having a room as a dining room, you could have one as a bedroom. But nothing suitable was coming up for me. And even some of them aren't designed with disability in mind. It's crazy. Because I needed something with no steps in. I needed something that was flat to the floor to be able to get in. No hurdles getting in the way. Easy access inside the hallway, that kind of thing, you know, the things you don't really think about. And when I got told we have to move because of my health issues, I mean, there was a lot. The OT had come out to do an assessment of adaptions. And she made a huge list. It was like, needed a lift going through the living room into the bedroom. I needed the kitchen extending out. I needed all sides lowering and everything like that. The garden needed to be made more safer for myself in a chair. So it needed widening on the path. It needed a ramp access to be able to get into the garden. It needed a driveway, because the amount of times I got stuck. Half an hour I was spent in the ice and snow trying to get up a neighbour's driveway, and I had a neighbour come out and help me. Stuff like that. The list just went on and on and on. Doorways needed widening. It just needed potentially knocking down and rebuilding. That was the easier option for it, but no, it never happened. So anyway, I had a lady from this company that does all the building work and stuff. She rang me and said, unfortunately, we've reached a decision with your housing that it would be an easier option to have you move. To be honest, I had a lot of bullying going on from neighbours either side. that bullied other people that lived in the house I was at. So yeah, it was the easier option to move. It didn't feel like it at the time. And I literally got off the phone. I mean, I was on the phone and crying to this woman when she said, "Oh, you've got to move." And I was like, but I don't want to move. This is my home. And I had a good cry. And then, then I thought, potentially, I'm struggling. And if I stay where I am, it's a huge, huge struggle. Isn't it easier to go to something that is going to potentially be easier to look after for myself? That isn't going to throw obstacles in the way. Being out in the rural areas was expensive. Every time I got in the car, it cost me money to get out because it was quite a drive from where we were to the town. So I started looking at properties, and then I got told by a lady at housing, "You're going to have to bid on bungalows and ground floor flats." And I didn't want a ground floor flat because a lot of them were in dodgy areas. I didn't fancy living near druggies and stuff like that. And yeah, there are bad areas around here where I've moved to. There's good and bad everywhere. But where I am now, this one come up and it's amazing. And I absolutely love it. And the day that I got this property approved, because I had to go through, jumping through hoops to have an assessment of my health and how urgent it was on a scale of 1 to 10 of living where we were, how much urgent we were. And we were an urgent because I was really, really struggling. The bathroom that we had, I couldn't have a bath. I couldn't get in it. I needed a wet room. My son was having seizures and his epilepsy. So that was taken into account. And then when this particular one come up, it was a bit of a fight to get it, but we were on the extremely urgent need to move scale. So we got this one allocated. We got asked if we wanted to go and have a look at it, and I was just blown away by the size in here. And also it's just the fact that everything is easy access for me now, be it that the doorways need a widening, and I need new doors putting in, different types of doors. It's great. I love it. It ticks every box going, and I've got a bit of garden space, which is just enough for me, to work at. So outside I shall be doing a few pots and planters and stuff for me come the spring summer months. Can't wait. But yeah, these are a few little ideas, few little pointers to try new things. Some things are not entirely new, because I've been out and about on my chair before, but I want to get into the habit of every single day out there, get out there, even if it's just like for 10 minutes. Obviously extreme weather, I'm not going to be able to do that, but I love it, getting out there and just taking myself off on a little wander. Yeah. The only one I'm really nervous about is the IKEA trip on a motorway. My carer lady, who I've had, she said she was going to take us, because I wasn't very confident on the motorway, which I'm hoping will still go ahead. She hasn't been for a little while, so we'll see. But I don't know what the score is with her at the moment, whether she's just going to come weekends, which may be easier for her, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be easier for me, because my cleaner who I usually have, is going to have an operation tomorrow. So she's out of action for a little while. I mean, she came Christmas Eve and did a quick clean for me. But I'm thinking the lady that has come to replace my cleaner temporarily is sort of doing cleaning, but also a bit of care work. She got my stuff out the dryer yesterday and folded it up and put it all, virtually in big piles for me to put away, which was nice. My son was like, went into the dryer and he was like, "Where's my clothes? Who's pinched them?" And I was like, she's probably folded them up and put them on the chair. And he was like, "Oh, right, okay." So that was something a little bit different. She stripped my bed down. I wasn't sure of her, to be honest, because she was just doing things that were making me a little bit uncomfortable. So like getting rid of envelopes and opening post or going through it all, and it just made me uncomfortable. And I was thinking, I don't know if I can have this woman here anymore. I had a bit of a panic attack with her, but yeah, now there's the cleaning, the deep cleaning has been done. It's like she's able to just whiz through and clean and do what needs doing. So the plan of action is I am thinking of having her come in the weekday, once a week, and seeing if she fancies nipping out with me and grabbing a few bits so I'm not struggling. Yeah, and then coming back here, unpacking it and doing a basic clean rather than a deep clean, because that's what my cleaner lady friend that's what she's here for deep cleaning. But if there's something that she fancies spot cleaning, then by all means go for it. But it would be a huge help to me. And then if I need Bev, my carer on a Saturday, then at least I've got that option. But yeah, it's time for change, I think. I know that I need the assistance and the help. And like I've put at the bottom, having help with shopping, learning to accept help is huge. When you can't do something anymore, it is a big dent in your head. It's massive. When you realise you can't do something anymore, it's admitting, yeah, I can't do it, and asking for help and asking someone to help me with it, is a huge, huge thing. Especially when my last abuser used to be the one that used to do an awful lot for me. And then when I got rid of him, it was like I was on my own. And at the time, I needed a gardener. And having garden people round, that was expensive. My God, that was expensive. Because it was like every 2 weeks, and my garden space was massive, front and back. It was huge. And it was lovely. But it was also horrible because I couldn't do it myself. And I've had a few people. The first one that I had, he pinched my garden tools. He rounded them up. He said, "Oh, I didn't know that these weren't mine." And I'm like thinking, come off it. And I had a garden claw, which was like a long handled grab thing. It looked like that basically, and you just twisted the long handle and it just shuffled the soil around and everything, and it was brilliant. I want to get another one, to be honest. And it was brilliant. But apparently he didn't know it wasn't his, but he was using it. If I had it out in the garden because I was using it that much, it was out there all the time, and it was just nice and easy for me to use. What are you doing? Oh my God, you pair are just a nightmare, aren't you? Hey, a pain in the bum. But hey, let me get my cup. Hang on. Yeah, so, oh dear. Yeah, so I've lost my train of thought now, but yeah, having the help for that was hard, but I did it. And then we've moved here, and the help is a different type of help because it's more like to help with everyday living rather than actually just having a clean, because I had a cleaner at my last address. But this is taking things to the whole new level, so helping me with, you know, basic everyday things I used to do myself. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go because these kittens are just sending things flying. Oh dear, dear. It's like every time I pick something up, they knock something else over. They're in that that crazy stage. Or we're just going up to the other cats and beating them up. Oh dear. They are great though, I love them. Both of them. It was annoying me last night, one of them, trying to suckle on me, and yeah, really hard as well. That was hard work. It took me ages to get to sleep because he kept trying and clawing at me and stuff. But I'm hoping that simmers down soon. Oh yeah, especially when they have the plums off. But hey. So yeah, accepting change is a big thing. It is for me. And having someone not able to do something that I've got used to having and everything. So yeah, it is a big difference for me. Right. These little buggers have knocked things over, so I'm going to have to sort them out. Right. And then tomorrow's is step into this new year with excitement and turn fear into adventure. So I know for that one, potentially it's going to be trying to get myself on motorway driving this year. It's stopping me doing a few things. I'd love to attend a vigil. I'd love to, yeah. I mean, I've seen one posted with an animal save movement in the Midlands. They go to Packer Meats, which is in Birmingham, and they do a vigil outside there. Where the slaughterhouse guys are just absolutely vile. A few activists have put on their posts that the guys there are just horrible. I mean, they've gone on to like Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, holding sheep's heads up and laughing and thinking it's fun, and I'm thinking that's just awful, and that's just, you know, imagine what those animals go through in that hellhole with them in, you know, looking after them. They've got no respect for the animals, dead or alive. Packer Meats, they're the ones where a sheep was filmed, or a few sheep were filmed running away from the slaughterhouse. They managed to get out and were running away, and they were chasing them down the street. They did manage to catch them, unfortunately, and they did get returned to the slaughterhouse. It's horrible. I've been watching these activists for a while. They also do Gills, Pig, which is the pig one. Gills is the sausage company, and they have truckloads of pigs, young pigs. So 6 months old they are. These activists, I've seen them on lives outside, and they bear witness for a few moments before the truck goes in, and they've said that the process is literally 20 minutes from offloading. Those animals are then herded through very quickly to the gas chambers, knocked out, and then throat slit, bled out, then hacked up into little pieces, and then you see the truck coming along with a big skip, and it empties into this great big skip, and you see all the heads and the bits that are not usable on these pigs that 20 minutes ago had been herded off the lorry. Yeah, it's a conveyor belt, and then you see another lot coming, and another lot, and another lot. And one of the activists said, I bet these body parts that are not used are still warm, because that's how quickly the process is from offloading off the wagon into the factory, into the slaughterhouse facility, where they basically take them off the wagon, they herd them to the gas chambers, and then slit the throats, bleed them out, and then, you know, basically gut them and, yeah, have them for various things that they cut them up and section them off for. I know that one time that there was a truck coming, you know, one of the little, forklift trucks type thing, and it had a skip attached to it, and it was being tipped into a big, huge skip, and a pig's head fell out, and it was sat staring it on the floor at the activists, and it was out there for ages. Yeah, and the guys that were there just were not interested, and eventually it was picked up and thrown into the skip. But the girls, they took photographs of this head that was sitting there, and the look of terror on its face, frozen in time. It was horrible. I would love to be able to attend that. My worry is being in the way, because obviously I'm in a chair, and being low down, I'm not going to see very much, to be able to bear witness to these pigs unless I stood for a few seconds. But even then, I might be too low down to be able to do anything. I could hold a placard, I could talk to people that are passing. I know Gills, we've been past it, going to Wolverhampton Hospital for myself. And I know that there's a big statue of a knife and fork. It's just vile, you know. And I'm sure that that's down where it is, around that facility, that there's like a side road, because I've seen all the trucks coming with the pigs on them when I was going home from the hospital, and it was just such a sickening sight to see these wagons, you know, when they were parked up and these little faces looking out. Oh, it was devastating. I mean, I've seen sheep in lorries going to a slaughterhouse near me. I don't know where there is one, but there obviously is a facility not far from here. I know I've seen some activists look into other areas as well, for vigils. We'll see. If I can, I will. I would like to do something, just to experience it and to say goodbye to the animals, would be the most hardest thing. Knowing that they're going to go into this horrible place and they're going to be put to death. And to the people that, you know, they don't see this until they see the things in the supermarkets with the wrapping around it, and it's like, oh yeah, I love that for my tea. Not thinking that that was living and breathing and walking around, you know. Right, so that's my thinking, sowing seeds to myself for tomorrow's entry. So, right, I'm going to go. I need to sort these cats out and that, and get me dressed. So I'll say thanks for watching, and until next time, ta-ra!